Welcome to the Auditor of State Uniform Accounting Network screencast for creating revenue budgets in UAN. In this screencast, we will cover how to add, supplement, and display revenue budgets. A revenue budget requires the existence of an associated account and fund. You must know which revenue account you're going to associate your revenue budget to and have that account and its fund set up in the system. See the Revenue Account and Funds screencasts for details on activating, deactivating, and maintaining revenue accounts and funds. Note that you can only enter a revenue budget once per fund. Therefore, it is important to set it up correctly the first time, as you will only be able to adjust it with supplementals after that initial setup. To navigate to the Revenue Budgets area, select the Accounting module, the Maintenance menu option, and then the Revenue Budgets function. The Revenue Budgets area will open to the right, listing all active revenue budgets currently being used by UAN. The actions available in this area are Add, Supplemental, and Display. The Close button just closes the Revenue Budgets area. To begin, simply click the Add button. A reminder that revenue budgets can only be entered once per fund will be displayed on the screen. Click OK to continue. A blank Add Revenue Budget form will open, displaying 3 sections and 2 buttons. They are the Fund section, the Revenues Data Entry Grid, the Budget and Date section, the Save button, and the Close button. As usual, required fields are in green, optional fields are white, and read-only fields are the same color as the background. Next, select the number of the fund you want associated with the revenue budget. Click on the Fund drop-down menu, or type in part or all of the required fund number for UAN to offer a list of suggested funds. If the fund you are looking for is missing, you will need to close the form and add the fund. See the Funds Maintenance screencast for details. Next, check the Revenue Budget Data Entry Grid to ensure that all the accounts you require are in the grid. Remember that you can only enter a revenue budget once per fund, so it is important to set it up right the first time. If anything is missing, you'll need to close the form and make any changes in the Revenue Accounts Maintenance area. See the Revenue Accounts Maintenance screencast for details. Once you have verified the accounts, enter the required budget amounts for each revenue account into the Revenue Budget Data Entry Grid. All budget amount fields are optional, but you must enter a positive amount into at least one budget. Next, select the budget's effective date from the Effective Date Calendar menu. You may either type in the desired date or click on the arrow and select the date from the calendar. The effective date is the date the budget is considered valid. Review your work. If everything is accurate, click the Save button. If you click the Close button without saving your work, UAN will prompt you with a message asking if you want to save the revenue budget. Click Yes to save and close the form, No to close the form without saving, or Cancel to continue working on the budget. If you click the Save button, UAN will post a message in the lower left-hand part of the form stating how much of the new revenue budget has been saved for the selected fund number, and clear the data entry grid to allow you to enter more revenue budgets. Repeat these steps as needed, beginning from selecting the fund number to add more revenue budgets. Click the Close button after saving when you are done adding revenue budgets. The supplemental function is used for making adjustments to your revenue budgets to account for events that have occurred since you entered your permanent budget. Such events might include adding a new revenue stream or adjusting for revenue shortfalls. To begin, select the permanent budgets that need supplementals from the Revenue Budgets area and then click the Supplemental button. The Add Supplemental Revenue Budget form will open, which is very similar to the Add Revenue Budget form. Next, enter the required budget revisions for each revenue account into the Revenue Budget Data Entry Grid. All budget amount fields are optional, but you must change at least one budget number. Note that you cannot reduce a budget number below 0. Also, you must leave enough in any budget to handle any outstanding obligations, such as completing payments on existing purchase orders. Next, enter the date you want the budget supplemental to take effect in the Date field, by either selecting the date from the Calendar menu or by typing in the desired date. The effective date is the date the budget is considered valid. Next, you may enter information into the optional Resolution and Purpose fields. The Resolution field is for tracking which resolution of your local authority is associated with this supplemental budget. The Purpose field is for adding notes regarding the reasons for this supplemental budget. If this supplemental budget is being performed to correct transcription errors, or budget items that were previously omitted from the original budget, check the Apply as Correction checkbox. Do not use this checkbox if you are performing an actual budget supplemental instead of correcting an original budget. If you selected multiple budgets to receive supplemental information, you may scroll between them using the navigation arrows at the bottom left of the form. Switching forms before saving your work will discard any work you did on that form. Review your work. If everything is accurate, click the Save button. If you click the Close button without saving your work, UAM will prompt you with a message asking if you want to save the supplemental. Click Yes to save and close the form, No to close the form without saving, or Cancel to continue working on the supplemental. If you save your budget supplemental, UAN will post a message in the lower left-hand part of the form stating that the supplemental revenue budget for the selected fund number has been saved. If you are entering multiple supplemental budgets, you will be moved to the next supplemental budget in the series after saving. Click the Close button after saving to finish adding supplemental budgets. To display revenue budgets, click on the checkboxes to the left of the budgets you want to look at, and click the Display button. The Display Revenue Budget form will appear, showing the first of the budgets you selected for display. If you selected multiple items to display, you may scroll between them using the navigation arrows at the bottom left of the form. Click the Close button when you are finished viewing the revenue budget. The key points you will want to remember for managing revenue budgets are: 1. Before you create a revenue budget, you'll need to have an associated fund revenue account. And 2. You can only enter a revenue budget once per fund, so it's important to set it up right the first time. You can append it or correct for errors with the supplemental function, but the fewer alterations to your budget, the easier it will be to keep track of it. Thank you for using this screencast on the maintenance of revenue accounts in UAN. For further information, you may contact the UAN support line at 800-833-8261 or by email at uan_support@auditor.state.oh.us.